Profile share via email report story. Chapter 18, the real story behind him. 8 months ago. His eyes glued on his reflection in the mirror, fixing his uniform and come along his tie next. After doing so, he then grabbed his bag and went downstairs straight to the living room. "Mom, I'll be going now," said the boy, who has a smile plastered on his face. The lady looked over to find her son, already walking towards her. "All right, have fun in school, Ojiro." She bid him goodbye before he departed. "Where's Dad?" asked the blonde, his head turning left and right, finding his dad in the house, just before he left. The mother frowned in response, averted her gaze from her son. "He left already." The other did the same, nodding back but soon turned that frown upside down, giving his mom the sweetest smile on his face. "It's fine. He's just busy, right?" He then waved his mom farewell as he made his way to school. But that smile continued to grow bigger and bigger with his heart beating fast. He couldn't wait. He was too excited to see her. He doesn't care about school or grades. He's only there for her. She is the reason why he's succeeding. She is his future itself. He just couldn't live without her. He felt like the luckiest man in the world. Dating the girl he has fallen for years was a dream come true, indeed. The perfect life he had with the perfect girl he loved. Ojiro. There, the sweet voice he has been waiting to hear in his ears, called out to his name as his eyes followed the voice, showing the appearance of his girlfriend, Hagakure. "Hagakure," called Ojiro, making his way to her in her seat. "Good morning." Hagakure was just a normal girl. She's not really popular or well known. She had black hair, spectacles, and always had her hair tied. She was plain looking and there's nothing really special about her. Just a typical, invisible person no one pays attention to, but Ojiro had all eyes on her. He loved the way she talks, the way she just smiles with everything he says, always helping him out and listens to his every problems. That's what made him fall in love with her. She was a year older than him. They met in the same club and happened to be partners for these past years. They gradually became close as friends to the point where they have romantic feelings for one another. So, one day, after how many years of staying in the friend state, Ojiro finally confessed his feelings for her. Of course, she accepted it and now they have been dating for a few months. There was a time where Ojiro introduced Hagakure to his family. His mother was so happy for the both of them, but his father has left a bad impression of her, not accepting the relationship. But Ojiro didn't care at all, and that's where it led to arguments and quarrels between the two of them. The father then stopped talking to him after that. He told that if Ojiro does not break up with Hagakure, he will not say a word to him anymore. It was hard for him. There were a lot of problems going on, but he tried his best to fix it everything. "Good morning," greeted Hagakure, flashing a smile across her face. "Your teacher isn't here yet?" he asked, taking a seat. She shook her head as a response. "Anyways, how's you and your dad?" Ojiro gave off a soft, faint laugh with an awkward tone in his voice. "We're okay, I guess. Promoted stories. You'll also like." The 1 tilde Todoroki X reader, check mark. 773K 22.5K and quad. It's just, and quad. Her eyes were brimming with tears. "No, please don't cry," I silently begged. "I can't stand to see you hurt." And quad. I don't want to see any of. Mania. Katsuki Bakugo. 160K 7.5K. Mania UA. High is the birthplace of legendary pro heroes and a bountiful source of memories. Memories are meant to be cherished. Memories are what make our lives. Plus Ultra Shoto Todoroki X Reader X Izuku. 843K 24.9K. Being rewritten. You and your twin brother, Katsuki Bakugo, have been close your whole life. Even through you two were close, you've always been homeschooled, for Reese. A Hero's Love Desire. 3.6K62. It's almost Valentine's Day and Izuku Midoriya, Deku is starting to realize that he has a crush on Ochako Uraraka, but he doesn't know if she feels the same way. He tries. The couples of Class 1A. 13.9K421. Love is a tricky thing, and it's different for everyone. That is something the students of Class 1A quickly understand as their school life unfolds around them. Todoric, the Support General Course. Quirkless. Deck, 40.9K 1.3K. Izuku got into UA, just not the hero course. Taking both support and general classes, Izuku aims to graduate from UA after giving up on his hero dreams. Quirkless is you again. 122K 3.8K. Katsuki Bakugo did not believe in fate, but when Ochako Uraraka burst into the 1A classroom with big news, he was forced to reconsider. In Where Katsuki is 3E, Hagakure showed a frown in her face, upset. Is this really going to work? Don't worry, Before he could finish his sentence, a bunch of students started gathering the lobby, all giving their attention on just one girl. Uraraka Ochako, the school's heartthrob, where all the boys would die just to go on a date with her. Which sounds wrong, apparently. Entering the school grounds, all boys, especially the seniors, trying to get her to notice them. It's Uraraka, again, Hagakure said in an utterly low voice. Yeah, teacher might be there. See you, Hagakure, waved the guy, with a smile on his face. Hagakure waved back as he departed the classroom and went to his. While walking, he decided to wash his hands first from the sink in the hallways. When he got there, he started washing. You wanna go out tonight? Someone abruptly said in the quiet corridors. Ojiro followed the direction of the voice and his eyes came across the brunette and his classmate. Uraraka, Yosetsu. And no, thanks, I'm pretty busy. The girl answered uncomfortably, with her completely cornered by him. Ojiro furrowed his eyebrows, irritated as he went to the two. Yosetsu, what are you doing? The guy looked over to him with a bored look. What do you mean? You have a girlfriend, right? Don't do this again, he said. So, I'm bored of that girl already. I like this one, he said in a cocky tone, smirking at the lady. He then groped on one of Ochako's butt cheeks with no shame, which made her scream in fear. Ah, she squeaked with horror filled in her eyes. Ojiro gritted his teeth, furiously. Stop that, he then gave a good punch on the guy's face as he landed harshly on the floor. Ojiro then immediately held around Ochako to protect. You okay? He asked. The girl nodded in return. He nodded at her reassurance and gazed over to Yosetsu again. You filthy bastard, apologize. Ojiro called someone from the back. The guy turned around to see Hagakure behind, witnessing only Ojiro hugging Uraraka around his arms. He then let go immediately from the embrace. Ha Hagakure, he called back, afraid of the further misunderstanding. The girl smiled, unsurely, walking towards him. Why you left your bag at my class? Ah, thank you, sorry about that. He took his bag from her hands as she stood back. I'll be going now, she lastly said, heading back to class. Ojiro stared at her presence until it was gone. He frowned at the look on her face. We should go now, Ochako said. Ojiro faced at her. Where's Yosetsu? She then pointed at the classroom. He went back to class. I see. The atmosphere became awkward as they both went inside. I'm home, Ojiro said in the house as soon as he entered. But there was no response but just silence filling the room. He found his parents with two other adults with them on the sofa, quiet. The boy received a smile from his father which made him taken aback. What's happening? Masharao, come sit with us, told the dad, and it made his heart suddenly filled with relief, seeing his dad finally talking to him. He smiled with a small laugh, taking a seat next to his mom. Why, who are these people? Meet my childhood friend, Mr. Yaoyaruzu. He introduced the guy to Ojiro. He smiled at him, politely shaking his hand then to his wife. Nice to meet you. Okay, Masharao, want to hear the good news? The dad asked him, grinning. Ojiro chuckled. What is it? Mr. Yaoyaruzu agreed to work with us in our company. And you get to be the next head of the company. The dad announced, which made Ojiro smiled even more. Really? That's great, Dad, thanks, he said in joy, looking around the place. The dad continued, but we will only agree to this if you marry their daughter. The smile faded away, with that lips gaping with shock. What? But, Dad, isn't that great? You get to be the most successful one in our family if you just break up with that girlfriend of yours. He soon began to tremble, completely astonished to the fullest with this rather horrible announcement. Dad, I don't want to. The dad then started to show an angered look. Masharao, what are you taking about? He growled lowly with irritation. Ojiro started to shake in fear. I said I don't want to. You will, he screamed as he slammed the table with his fist, which made everyone in the room flinched. Dad, he called, would you rather pick her over our family business? No, but Dad, if you don't leave that girl right now, I'll kick you out of this house and never see your face ever in here again. Ojiro looked straight into his flaring eyes. He gulped with the tension filled in the room, with everyone completely shocked that they didn't dare to speak up. Why yes, Dad. Ojiro walked into the campus with a depressed look on his face. He could feel his heart heavy, about to break. His mouth tremble with the extremely high fear filling up in his guts. Ojiro-san, called the brunette from afar, holding a box. Uraraka, she then showed him the box, full of chocolate brownies. This is for helping me back there yesterday. Oh no, it's fine. It wasn't really a problem. But, I just wanna thank you. I knew chocolates were not enough, she said with a frown on her look. Ojiro squinted his eyes, with a slight of guilt weighing him down. She did took a lot of work in making that, and rejecting it would just make it look like it was waste of her time. I'll take it. Her lips began to brighten up to a smile. She then handed him the box. Thank you, Ojiro-san. He took the box from her. No problem. As soon as Ochako gave the brownies, Ojiro went straight to Hagakuri's class. He was not prepared at all, he wasn't ready to tell her. Along the way, was just him thinking on what to do to fix this. But there was no path to that. Entering the class, he saw Hagakuri on her seat, peacefully just looking out of the window. He held in his breath and walked towards her. Ojiro, she called, happily. He laughed lowly with an unsure smile on his face. Hey, Hagakuri, what's with the box? She asked, not taking her eyes off the box. Ojiro sat down next to her and just chuckled. It's from Uraraka. The girl's face slowly frowned and stared at the ground. I see. Hey, Hagakuri, I wanna ask you something. Hagakuri then nodded. Yeah, what will happen if I wasn't by your side anymore? Her face looked utterly confused, and without a doubt, she wasn't feeling too good about why he's asking this. What do you mean? The guy squinted his eyes, trying not to show his tears. Hagakuri, he said, what if I say we should break up? The eyes of hers bulged in shock. Are you joking? She then gave off a unsure laugh. Ojiro continued that dejected look again. I think it's best for us to break up. She gasped under her breath with her eyes producing more tears. Is it because you like someone else? She shouted, standing up from her seat. He then looked up at her, furrowing his brows. And no, you're just like everyone else. Fine, let's do it. Go to her. She then stomped her way out of the class with everyone all eyes on the door, confused with the sudden situation. Ojiro looked down, angry at himself for being a big coward and not standing up, telling her the real reason why he broke up with her. If he did, she would have thought of something to run away and it will just make the situation worse with him and the dad. I guess it's over. It's the next day, and both Ojiro and Hagakure never said a word to each other anymore. It was sad, really. The misunderstandings between them just ruins the whole relationship. There's nothing Ojiro can do but to just follow the dad, to carry out the family generation for their business for the past 50 years. Ojiro went inside his classroom, without doing his daily routine, which is going to Hagakure first thing in the morning. Good morning, class, the teacher greeted as soon as he arrived. The whole class greeted back before they got back to their seats. Unfortunately, your classmate, Uraraka Ochako, had to transfer school due to the parents discovering that she was sexually harassed by one of the students, he announced, and immediately the whole class were all disappointed with the news. So, that student is now expelled. Please, everyone, I don't want this kind of act from you. Ojiro looked down on the floor, sad about the announcement. Well, it was obvious that Yosetsu was the one expelled, but hearing that Ochako left made him feel bad. It has been 2 months ever since Ochako moved. The school was perfectly normal with no gathering of boys because of a girl. No screaming, no nothing. It felt rather peaceful, even without Hagakure and Ojiro talking anymore. But then, Hagakure transferred school already, told one of Hagakure's classmates. Ojiro jaws dropped and stared at her with confusion. Hearing this abrupt news, Ojiro fell on his knees as he felt his body tremble from shock. And no way. After school, he ran to Hagakure's house, immediately ringing the doorbell. The door soon opened after a few minutes. But there appeared a girl with blue hair, who looked absolutely gorgeous in his sight. He has never seen this girl before. Is Hagakure home? The girl stared at him, with glaring eyes. She's speaking. His eyes widened with disbelief. This girl is Hagakure. Hagakure, yes. She crossed her arms, with her head filled with annoyance. What happened to your hair? Since when did you stop wearing glasses? What happened? She rolled her eyes and shook her head. I'm another person now, Ojiro. I'm going to start a new life, she said. Just forget me, alright. He couldn't believe it. What has gotten to her? I'm sorry, Ojiro, she continued as she closed the door. Ojiro stared at the door, still doesn't know what's happening. Why was he here again? Was that the girl he knew before? That wasn't Hagakure. That wasn't the girl he loved. How is he going to get that girl back? Todoroki stared at him in front of the class, his eyes flaring in anger. Just seeing that face makes him want to break it. Why is he here? Ojiro made his way to the vacant seat at the back. He looked around the place, but it was difficult to since everyone had all eyes on him. He felt uncomfortable with the tense atmosphere. He then eyed at Hagakure at the front, but her back was the one facing. He stared at her new look. It was disappointing. It sure was a new upgrade for her, but it wasn't what he liked. He hoped she's still the same person as before. The reason why he went to this school is to have her back. To not ruin anyone's relationship. Momo and Todoroki's relationship. And his one. I'm going to fix this. Momo walked out of the classroom, still looking down the ground. Everyone kept glancing at her ever since they heard the news about her marriage with the new student. She hated it. It was annoying that the fact Ojiro had to tell everyone about it. Yaoyaoruzu. Momo saw Todoroki from afar, calling out to her. She then went to him, still embarrassed with herself. After she reached him, she told, I'm sore. I wanna tell you something. He cut her off. She looked over to him, taken aback with the tone in his voice. But the next thing he said was even more shocking, which she wasn't prepared to hear. He told her, let's elope. Hey guys. Sorry for this awfully boring chapter about flashbacks of a non-protagonist. Ha 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 ha. And that there are so many different scenes cut in such a fast moment. I feel like I was rushed because I've been pretty busy this week, so I had to finish this quickly as soon as possible. This chapter was important to add the missing puzzle piece of the whole story. But I'm sorry if it's not Izwocha related. Well, kinda. That's how Ochako moved to Izuku's school anyway. And I had to admit, this was boring to write. That's why I have no motivation and that I have to make it quick. SORRYYY because I was too excited for the next chapter, greater than, less than, really. That's why I didn't put too much in this. So it's kinda short and that I added the main important parts only. HAAHHA, so please bear with me and wait for the next week's chapter, or maybe less than a week as an apology. Bye. 3 See you in the next CHP. Where stories live.